So there are a lot of mods for Antimatter Dimensions, about 15 to be exact. They're the New Game Plus mods, the New Game Minus mods, Infinity and Eternity Respect, New Game Multiplied, New Game Exponential, and New Game Update. There are Prime and Semi-Prime for New Game Update, but that uses multiple mods, so we won't count those. Some of these mods add new content, and some may just buff or nerf progression. But which ones are the best? To see, I'll try each of these mods to see which one is the best. Keep in mind some of these mods take a really long time to finish, so I'll just be using the console to skip past the time walls. Starting off with New Game Plus, there's actually two versions of this mod. Version 1 was created by Earth. This version starts you off with all Eternity challenges completed and one Infinity. You'll probably notice that the early game is going much faster than it usually would. This is mostly because of the Eternity Challenge 3 completions, which make the multiplier per 10 dimensions 6 instead of 2. Version 2 was created by Eric's and USA Victor. It adds a lot of new buffs, like a million banked infinities, all of the pre-break infinity upgrades except for the fourth column, starting with 100 eternities, and other buffs. However, Eternity Challenge 1, 4, and 10 only have one completion instead of 5 like in version 1. Personally, I like version 1 better because version 2 just feels like they gave everything to you, but version 1 is still more linear because it's just a boosted normal game. You can't play version 1 anymore as far as I know, but you can use this console command to give yourself all of the Eternity Challenge completions, which is basically a version 1 simulation. For some reason, reloading your save will cause you to have New Game Plus version 2 for some reason. New Game Plus Plus, or New Game Plus 2, was created by Dan Simon. It doesn't add any buffs, but it adds new content like meta dimensions, more time studies called mastery studies, more dilation upgrades, and another row of achievements. New Game Plus 2 wasn't finished, but was instead continued by Eric's as New Game Plus 3. If New Game Plus 3 didn't exist, I'd probably say it's a decent mod since there's not a lot of extra content, but it's good for what it has. New Game Plus 3 is the extension of New Game Plus 2. It has a lot more content like 2 new prestige layers, Quantum and Ghostify, more mastery studies, and other mechanics like replicants and Emperor Dimensions. This is probably the most popular mod, which even has a Discord server for it. It's still being developed as of August 2020. Currently, the most recent update is New Game Plus 3.1, which will add balancing changes to this mod. This mod is pretty good in my opinion. It has a lot of new content for people who just want to continue past the normal game. But you should probably play the normal game first before you go into New Game Plus 3. New Game Plus 4 is sort of a hidden mod. You can only get it by unlocking Big Rip in New Game Plus 3, although technically you only need the achievement that you get by unlocking Big Rip, so you could just use the console to get that. This mod unlocks all of the content up to Tree of Decay. This mod is okay for people who just want to skip all the content before Tree of Decay, so if you're trying to recover your save, you could use this as an alternative. However, you might forget to do something in an earlier part of the game, like getting an Eternity upgrade or turning on an auto buyer, which might not be a good thing since there is a lot of content before Tree of Decay. New Game Exponential was created by Naru Yoko. It is basically a more powerful version of New Game Plus, which adds buffs like making the IP multiplier scale by 4 times instead of 10. The multiplier per 10 dimensions is 20 instead of 2, and some buffs to time studies and other things. I think this mod is good for people who want an even more boosted version of the regular game, or just a boosted version of New Game Plus. Personally, I think it's decent myself. Also, it's compatible with most mods, even though it can break sometimes. New Game Multiplied was made by Despacito and Soul147. This mod is about as powerful as New Game Exponential. However, it increases the multiplier per 10 dimensions based on galaxies and dimension boosts, instead of just giving you a flat 20 times multiplier. This mod is still a work in progress, so more buffs will be added. But you can get up to a 1000 times multiplier per 10 dimensions, 50 times as much in New Game Exponential. As of right now, this mod isn't that good since it only changes one thing. Once the updates for this mod come out, it'll probably be better in the future. Now, moving on to the New Game Minus series. New Game Minus was made by Slab Drill. It adds various nerfs such as having -1 galaxies reducing tick speed, only getting 0.5 infinity points per infinity, having -6 time theorems, and various other things. Technically, this is an edited save, but it is a mod, so that's why we're including it here. Usually, I don't like nerfed mods, but if you want a nerfed to normal game, you could try this one out and see. New Game Minus Minus, or New Game Minus 2, was made by Dan Simon, Nyan Cat, and PG132. This mod makes it so dilation nerfs always take effect. You're also trapped in Infinity Challenge 3, where you get a static multiplier to normal dimensions instead of decreased tick speed. But now there's a new layer called Galactic Sacrifice before Infinity. This helps to balance the game a little and give you some boosts, like reducing dimension costs and other things. Some upgrades and achievements are also changed to give different boosts. This is probably the best mod in the New Game Minus series because although it is slow, it adds new content to make it feel balanced. New Game Minus Minus Minus, or New Game Minus 3, was made by Arex. This mod makes tick speed upgrades less effective and also nerfs galaxies even more, but adds a new mechanic called tick speed boosts, which make the static multiplier for normal dimensions higher based on how many you have. It also gives you a multiplier to all dimensions based on how many you bought, which is the amount bought times 0.2, as well as adding more upgrades to the Galactic Sacrifice layer. I think this mod is pretty good for people who have already tried New Game Minus Minus and want an extended version of that. But if you haven't tried New Game Minus Minus first, you should probably do that, then try this one. New Game Minus 4 is a mod by Arex and PG132. It adds even more nerfs to New Game Minus 3, such as all dimensions being 100 times slower, the dilation penalty being buffed further to x to the power of 0.7, where it was 0.75, and a whole lot more changes. There's a whole document with the list of changes and boosts that I'll leave in the description. This mod is probably only for people who want a really slow game, but for me, it's okay, but I don't really find it that enjoyable. New Game Minus 5 is a mod by Arex, USA Victor, and PG132. It is still being balanced, so there may be changes to the mod after I make this video. Some of the nerfs in this mod are, you're stuck in Eternity Challenge 12, which makes the game 1000 times slower. You're stuck in the Automated Galaxies Challenge, where there's a exponentially rising matter. Matter increases 100 times faster. Tick speed multiplier increase is halved, and other nerfs. There's also a new layer called Paradox, where if your matter exceeds your current antimatter, you gain 1 paradox. Or, if you're far enough in the game, you can paradox sacrifice for a certain amount of paradoxes based on your antimatter amounts. You can use these paradoxes to get various upgrades, like reducing the effect of Eternity Challenge 12. There's a whole list of changes in this mod as well, which there's also a document for that I'll link in the description. This mod is pretty similar to New Game Minus 4, so I don't know if it's that good, but the paradox layer may make up for it. I've tried it myself, and I can say it is very, very hard to progress in it, but I have found some ways to do so. And I'm even doing some live streams where I try to progress as far as I can for a couple hours, but that's not related to this. Alright, moving on to the Respect mods. Infinity Respect was made by Arex. It makes Infinity a lot more different and has more content up to infinity points, like Singularity and Dim Text, which both have various upgrades like reducing dimension costs. This mod does change some things, but overall it doesn't have a lot of new content. It's good for what it has though. Maybe if it had more updates it could be better. Eternity Respect was made by Dan Simon and has different content past Eternity, similarly to Infinity Respect. However, Eternity Respect was made before Infinity Respect. Just how many times am I going to say respect? Instead of a skill tree, which would be where you would buy the time studies, there are 4 upgrades that you can keep buying to increase their power, like increasing the Replicancy multiplier or making Dimension Boost more powerful. This mod is technically outdated since there are only 10 rows of achievements, which was in a former update that I can't figure out right now. And also there are only 3 Eternity upgrades, being the top ones. If this mod was made recently, then it would be a decent mod, but I'd be confused why there wasn't a lot of content. New Game Update was made by Dan Simon and, similarly to Eternity Respect, extends content past Dilation instead of past Eternity. When you reach E4000 Eternity points, you can unlock the Black Hole. You can upgrade the Black Hole with Replicancy, Banked Infinities, and Dilated Time. But to actually power up the Black Hole, you need Eternity points, which you can spend on Black Hole dimensions to increase the size of the Black Hole and the effectiveness of it. There's also X Dilation, which you get once you reach 1 nonillion, or E30 for people that use scientific notation, tachyon particles, which you can use to boost the repeatable upgrades, the 3 times tachyon particles and the double dilation, and the galaxy upgrade. For what this mod has, it's decent, though there's not too much content. You definitely have some more updates, but the creative is not active in mods anymore as far as I know. I know there are other mods like New Game Plus Respect and Antimatter Dimensions challenging, but I'm only including the ones on ARX's website, since that's where most of the mods are anyway. So, what do I think are the best mods? Here are my top 3. In third place is New Game Plus version 1. This mod is good if you just want a boosted normal game. It's also compatible with most other mods, the most popular one being New Game Plus 3, but it can also be used for other mods like New Game Minus. But since it doesn't actually add any content, I'll put this one in third place. In second place is New Game Minus. This mod is the best New Game Minus mod in my opinion, and also should be second place since it's not too hard. It's not really easy either. It does slow down the content, but it tries to make it so that it feels balanced, which I think is a good thing. And it also balances the content like Galactic Sacrifice well, even though it gets harder once you reach Eternity and stuff like that. In first place, obviously, is New Game Plus 3. I mean, it was pretty obvious this was going to be in first, but I think it deserves its spot. It has a bunch of content like I mentioned earlier, and it's also balanced pretty well, with there being a few minor bugs. But, and like I said, it also has its own Discord server with more than 1,000 members. You could also spend a lot of time on this mod since it could take more than 3 months to beat, which is also true for New Game Minus, but that mod isn't very balanced. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll try to upload more since I have a new computer now, and it doesn't take literally 1 hour to export a video. Also, I do live streams sometimes. Currently I'm trying to progress in New Game Minus 5. So far, I've done 4 time dimension shifts, and a couple dimension shifts, but those got reset since I had to do the time dimension shift. With my best antimatter being about 100 sextillion, or 1e20, or 1e23 for people that use scientific notation. So maybe I'll see you there. I don't really have a schedule for it, I'll just stream when I feel like, so I guess it'll make sense if you don't appear, but it's alright. Alright, bye for now.